Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? I saw somebody on there. I see nobody on, but I'm going to keep talking. Y'all know me. I am here to do this every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I am Angelique. This is my podcast, Silent No More. It is a podcast that's designed to bring more awareness to something that I swear people just, they want to keep it underground so bad. I understand. Believe me, I've been through it, so I get it. I get it. But I am personally not going to allow that to happen. That's why I'm here every single Sunday night. What's going on, y'all? So I'm Angelique. I am Angelique Pierce. I am the founder of Ladder Masters Inspirational Leadership Group, better known as Ladder Masters. I am here as a speaker, I'm a facilitator, but I am an advocate of freedom and truth. As a domestic violence survivor, I am absolutely an advocate of freedom and truth. That is important to me because my freedom, your freedom, there's no value. You can't place a number on that. And truth, I have to speak my own, you have to speak your own. So I see somebody out there. Do me a favor, just let me know that you can see and hear me. Do that for me, that you can see and hear me. I'm trying a whole new little hookup to make sure that my signal is very strong and that there are no issues. So if you can see me and hear me, just give me a nice yes in the comments so that I absolutely know for sure that we're good to keep going. But listen, for the last few weeks, I've been doing something really cool. I've never done this before, like for my podcast. So this is really cool. I started a book discussion series. It's been it'll be 4 weeks in total. This is week number 3. And so the book that we've been talking about is this one, Surviving Domestic Violence, Voices of Women Who Broke Free, like me. Voices of Women Who Broke Free. This is so important. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Jerona. I cannot believe she's on here. Oh my God. First of all, I owe her a phone call, right? She gonna kill me. But I owe her a call. But that right there, listen, y'all, we go back. She actually, we started the same church when I moved here. We went to the dance ministry together at that church. She ended up being my wedding planner. Like, oh my gosh, she's my sorority sister. Don't get me started. There's so much history there. So happy you on her, baby. I love you, love you, love you, love you. All right, so let's keep going. So this book, again, Surviving Domestic Violence, it is centered on the stories of 11 women who survived domestic violence, broke free, and restarted their lives. Gosh, I can't tell y'all how much stuff in these stories. I feel like I'm talking to myself or reading about myself sometimes. So let me do a quick recap from last week. All right, last week's discussion was focused on section 2. Remember, this week is section 3. Last week was section 2. And there's a few things I just want to highlight from last week that really, they just points that stuck with me. The first point was from one woman. Her name was Peg. And Peg, she gave this great analogy that I think I'll never forget. She said she felt like in her situation, being a victim of domestic violence at the fault of her husband, she said, I felt like I was assembling a jigsaw puzzle. It was like pieces of a puzzle. And it wasn't until she got more of the pieces or all of the pieces where she could see the total picture of him, that's when she could leave. And I'm telling y'all, it is just like that, because you meet this person and you're trying to, just like any relationship, any start of a new relationship, it's all good. Everybody's being on their best behavior. Don't we all do it? We do it too, right? And so you're trying to figure out, oh, he said that. I didn't like that too much, but what does that really mean? Maybe nothing right now. Let me get this other piece. And but these pieces don't fit. So I'll just sit one over here and sit one over here because they're separate situations, but something's awkward. It's not bad. Then you get another piece and you're like, oh, wait a minute. This piece and this piece are similar colors. I think they might go together. I'm going to sit them in this area together until I figure it out. Oh, that's a border piece. That's another border piece. And you're slowly assembling this puzzle that until you get that thing together, you don't really know what's happening. She said to me, it was like a piece of a puzzle. One puzzle piece doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's exactly how I felt. That is exactly how I felt. Like I was piecing puzzles together. All right, let me keep going. The other woman in that particular section, her name was Cara Lee. She talked about her desire to protect her son. To protect her son is what spurred her on to get out of her situation. This is page 95. She says, I didn't want Bobby being her son. I didn't want Bobby to ever grow up to be an abuser. I wanted him to have self-esteem and believe that to be a man and a father figure is a good thing. So she thought, I gotta get my baby out of this because I know this is not what life should be like. That's how I felt. I gotta get my baby out of this. I told y'all last week, because I don't want her to think that this is how mommies treat dad or daddies treat mommies or how husbands are supposed to treat wives. Because if she thinks that, then she'll think that's acceptable and move forward. We're like, oh, well, this isn't much different than what I saw when I was growing up. So must be kind of like how it is. Definitely did not want her thinking that. So had to get my pumpkin out of it. I am so happy. Let me just stop for a second. I am so happy to see each one of y'all on here. I am just ecstatic right now. It is a Sunday night at 7, and y'all could be like eating some food or doing whatever or watching whatever show or the news. Y'all talking to me tonight. So thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, let's share this with somebody else. It's for some reason you can think of a person or a group or whoever that you like to share this with. Do it right now. Tag somebody right now. Tag somebody. Hit that share button and say, you know what? There's a group of people over here I bet would benefit from this. Tag somebody, share this with somebody. Do it right now. Right now. All right. I'm going to keep going. So this very idea of getting someone out or getting out because of your kids, I'm telling y'all, that was the thing that drove me to get out of my marriage. It was essential to get away from him first, to get me and my baby away from him. She was 4 when I did it. Because like I said, there's no way I was gonna let her grow up thinking this is what daddies do. That's what daddies do to mommies. That's how it goes. Nah. We would say, nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. Ain't going down. So the last thing from last week that stands out to me is this question, this thing that always comes up, asking why a woman stays with an abuser. I understand the question. I know why people think it. I get it. But now having been through it, be careful what you ask or how you ask it. Because asking a woman why they stay with an abuser is the sort of a question that like almost points to its own answer, which is blaming her. Why did you stay? Why did you do that? You have to actually turn the question around on itself. You have to, because the answer is only going to become clear when the question is reframed. So what do I mean by that? So instead of asking about the victim, why don't anybody ask about the abuser? That's a novel idea. Why doesn't anyone ask about the abuser? Meaning, what tactics did the abuser use that got in the way of her escaping? No one asked that question, but I'm gonna give it to y'all. What tactics did the abuser use that got in the way of her escaping or leaving? When you frame it that way, the answer is a lot more clear. All right. So just from me to you. All right. From me to you, as we think about how to help victims, think about that, how you frame these kinds of questions. All right. That was last week. This is a new week, baby. We are jumping right into section 3. So section 3 of this book is titled, After It's Over, It's Not Over. Woo, Lord Jesus. Ooh, can I testify right now? Like, can I testify about how it's over, but it's not over? It is a fact. So in this section of the book, there are the stories of 3 more women, Whitney, Dr. Andrea Hartley, and a lady named Dawn Kincaid. So I'm going to go through the highlights of what they talked about. Listen, I don't know if you plan to get this book. It is a great read. It reminds you that people are human and feelings are real. And this stuff that these women have been through, some of it even before they got involved with the abuser that's in the story, but things that happen in their childhood, stuff that you, me, all of us deal with and try to suppress that comes to the surface in our later relationships. Listen, this is real stuff. So let's start first. Section 3, Whitney Benson, I'm saying Whitney Houston, Whitney Benson, her story is interesting. And this one is for all the moms out here with daughters, even sons, because abuse happens to sons too. But in this case, Whitney is a woman, and her story starts out as teen dating violence. Are you listening, Chantel? I hope you are on here, because I honestly want to make sure we share this with our teens. As a matter of fact, let me back up a step, because I played the Unique Blessings video, but I didn't do my typical spill. For my Unique Blessings fan was like, hey, Hey, shout out to the UB Podcast Network, my Unique Blessings family. Listen, y'all, we just got off a meeting. We do this together. We do this thing called life. We do this thing called advocacy together. We serve the community together. So shout out to Chantel Evans. Shout out to Jacob Anderson. There's so many people in the crew. Miss B, all of us. Shout out to the team. Alonzia, all of y'all. Love y'all to pieces. Thank you so much for the support you've given me and Moo. My interaction with you guys has been changing our lives. So thank you. All my kisses, all my love, all my love. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Whitney. Again, this is something that I want you guys to be aware of. If you are parents of a teenager, this is about a story about a teenage girl, but boys and girls, listen up. Page 117, it opens like this. Get ready. She says, this is her opening statement. As an adult now, she says, guys bring me flowers sometimes when they come to pick me up for a date. And I'm just like, oh no. Because to me, flowers mean he's either going to do something bad to me or he already has. This is real stuff, y'all. I see y'all out here. Hey, listen, once y'all put some comments in here, let me know who's on, because I see it's 9 of y'all watching. Let me know who's on here. I am so happy to see you guys. Make sure you put some comments in so I can see you. All right, so listen, y'all, she literally said, now, because of her experience, when guys bring her flowers, she thinks, what is he going to do to me? Or what has he already done to me? That's called triggers. That tells me, and I'll get to it in a second, that she's been through some things. Hey, Sarita, hey, girl. She's been through some things that tell her, flowers, I don't like flowers. So let's get into her story. Now, well, in a second, listen, I got one of those, y'all. So that's Sarita. Sarita said, wow, yes. Hey, we got some good people on here. Hey, y'all. Oh, I love it. I love it. Tanika and Lee, I'm so happy you guys joined. This is phenomenal. Y'all don't understand. Maybe y'all do understand what this means to me. Maybe you do. So listen, she had flowers. Let me tell you what mine is. I got a few of them, but I'm going to just point this particular one out. I get really cringy when a guy early on starts to say baby, starts calling me like pet names. Or seems like they're moving something along a little too fast and not just letting it ride. I get cringy, and I know I start to draw back. The other thing I literally cannot stand is that if I am in a date, second, third, fourth, whatever, and the guy is behaving that way, first of all, I pull away. But I've heard this comment a few times that really makes me go, "You're gone." What they say is something like, you can't tell me that you didn't have, 2 minutes or 5 minutes to give me a call. I mean, I know you're busy, but you can't tell me you didn't have time. First of all, I will call you when I'm good and daggone ready. Okay, this ain't on your schedule, not on your clock. There is no alarm set to call you in my phone. Okay, not happening. So why does that matter? Because that was a very particular moment in my relationship that I missed, that my ex called me when I started a new job and I was going crazy busy in my new job. And he was calling and calling. I'm busy trying to learn my new job. I got all these new people around me. I have employees, but he wouldn't let up. And when I finally called him back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he said, now mind you, he was my boyfriend at the time. He said, you can't tell me that you ain't have 2 minutes to call somebody you say you love. Okay, so you see the mind game there? You can't tell me you didn't have 2 minutes to call somebody you say you love. So he's putting it back on me to prove my love when it's nothing but him trying to control my attention and direct it on me. Stop whatever you're doing. I don't care about your new job. You should have called me. No, how about this? You should have sat your behind at home and watched some TV till I got off work at 5 o'clock. How about that? That's what you should have done. You're not 5. You're not a child that you can't wait for a phone call. Suck it up and wait till I call you back. Now, that's the kind of language we need to give our girls the power to say, no, I don't have to call you in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour. I will call you when I'm good and daggone ready, when I'm done with my job. How about that? That's what we need to give our girls the power to say and the voice to say. I didn't know to say that because he mixed it in with a little bit of the truth. If you love me, you would have. I missed that, y'all. I missed that. Yeah, that part right there, that part. Thank you, Tanika. All right, so yes, pay attention and give your girls the power to speak these words. When they say things like, I don't like your hair like that. Oh, for real? Well, it doesn't matter what you think because I love my hair. Teach, literally, I do this with my daughter. We have mock scenarios where I say things to her. And I'm like, well, I don't like what you have on today. And she'd be like almost like, she's like, is this okay to say to mommy? And it's kind of a joke right now, but she's getting used to it. And she'll say things like, I don't care what you think. I like my clothes. Give your girls and your boys the words to say, practice with them. Are y'all listening to me? I practice with my baby. Okay. That's from Unique Blessings. That's my family. Thank you to everyone for tuning in tonight to learn more about healing after domestic violence with our amazing host of Silent No More podcast. Thank you. Please share. I love y'all to death. Let me keep going about Whitney. This story is important, and I want to make sure if I don't tell any other story, I want to tell this one because tonight I am talking about, in this particular woman's story, teen dating violence. So let's keep going about Whitney. Her story is about a guy named Brad. Brad was the boy who manipulated, tormented, and ultimately, when she broke off the relationship, this dude brutally raped her. She was a kid, 14 at the time when she was dating him. Listen to this story. So it starts off with this, where like one day, 6 o'clock, she's already started dating him. He's showing that he likes her. She likes him. Okay. So now they're dating, and around 6 o'clock one day, she hears the sound of his car pull up. I guess he's driving a BMW, so he was special, right? So pulls up to the curb. I guess if I was 14 and I was dating a guy who had a BMW, I guess I'd feel impressed too. Okay. So he pulls up to the curb in front of her mom's house, her parents' house, and she waited like, oh, is he going to come ring the doorbell? Is he going to come ring the bell? But he didn't. Guess what he did? Y'all already know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what he said. He did. He honked the horn repeatedly and impatiently. So what did she do? Well, she said it felt more like a carpool than a date, but I ran out the door and got in. Right here, right here. Now, this I'm speaking from personal experience. Me too. Way back in the day, not my ex, but way back in the day. I remember my mom telling me about this guy I was dating at the time. Now, I'll speak his name. His name was Maurice. I was into Maurice. And I remember him pulling up in front of my mom's place in a Corvette. I was so impressed. He was so chocolate and so sexy and all that, right? I remember it, but I remember him beeping the horn and my mom being like, he could come to the door and knock. And I'm like, it's okay, mom, whatever. And I almost wish she would have said, no, let me tell you something. You won't walk out that door unless he comes up here to get you. I almost wish. Moms, are we listening? Are we listening, moms? There is a certain level of respect that we have to teach our girls to demand from the beginning and not just be so ready and not just be so willing because we want to be in this person's company so bad that we just accept whatever they throw at us as being okay and acceptable. It is not okay and it is not acceptable. And it's the little things like that, the little places where we give too much or don't raise the standard. You honking the horn at me like I just some trick. No, we don't do that. So to the moms, all right? Thank you. Yes, that is a respect thing. Thank you. All right, so let's keep going. So they go on this first date and she gets in his car and the first thing he says to her is, you ready? Oh, is that what you're going to wear? Is that what you're going to wear? What does that imply? Right away. Oh, I don't approve. So not only did she come out to his honking, she gets in his car, and the first thing and in the book, it talks about how she fussed over her outfit, like fussed over it, changed it, and finally thought she arrived at the right outfit. She gets in his car. He said, oh, is that what you're wearing? So, of course, she's like, oh, my God, I still picked the wrong outfit. So she says she felt just awful. Let's keep going. They get to the restaurant. This girl is 14 or 15 years old. Y'all listening? They get to the restaurant. She gets ready to order. She had picked what she wanted off the menu. She gets ready to order. And he said, you can't eat that. Look at you. You're so fat right now. Oh, my God. My teens. I feel it from my teens. I feel it from my girls. He said, you're so fat right now. That would only make it worse. Here's the thing. She said, well, I had heard sometimes that on a date, a guy will order for you. So I didn't argue with him. So now you listening? And he has now taken over what she's going to eat, what she is allowed to eat. And she processes that as, Well, I heard that sometimes guys do order for you, so maybe he does know what's best. Y'all, we have got to talk to our girls. Oh my God, we have got to talk to our girls because this kind of stuff happens so much. So here's what happened. When the waitress actually came, when she came to the table, he said, he spoke. He said, she wants a plain salad, just lettuce. Don't put any dressing on it, no carrots, no cucumbers, just lettuce. And I want it in a really small bowl. And what does she do but sit there and let him order it for her? Because she had heard sometimes that on a date, the guy will order for you. All right, let me stop right here. We have got to have these conversations with our daughters to say there are boundaries for everything. If you wanted this and he says no, first of all, because you're fat, who is he to be in charge of what goes in your belly? That is your belly and your body. But she was 14, 15 years old and had no real life experience and didn't really understand the dynamics of what was happening right there. Let's keep going. So later on page 120, I'm about page 120, he said, no, you'll have water and lots of it. I felt like a Philly girl just now. I said water. Serena, did I just say water? Oh my God, I sure did. He said, no, you just have water and lots of it. That was the start. She said, from the very first time I went out with Brad, I was on his diet. Y'all have to really, really pay attention to what our girls are saying, to what our girls think, to who our girls are talking to how their clothing changes, to how their hair changes, to their eating habits change. Please pay attention. I am sticking on this one because my baby is young, and at some point, she's going to be right there talking about boys. I ain't even ready. Ooh, I ain't ready. But she will be. And I have got to prepare her. We have got to prepare our girls and our boys, because don't get it twisted. Girls, teenage high school girls abuse boys too. Thank you. Did I say it loud enough? Okay, good. All right. So anyway, we move forward. And she mentions that after the fact, the hindsight is 2020 thing. She says 5 years after the relationship, I can see all the signs of Brad's appetite for control. They were right there in front of her. However, she was the age 14. She had no standard against which to measure his behavior. No one had said, no one told her this is okay, but right there, that's that little line right there. Don't let anybody cross that. We got to talk openly to our girls. So anyway, after about 5 more months of this crazy salad diet, please understand it was lettuce, nothing else. Lettuce and water, lettuce and water. That's all he would let her eat. She had figured out what she was supposed to do. Finally, after losing all this weight, being super skinny, still don't understand to this moment how her parents missed that, because that's in the book too. But she broke up with Brad. She was tired of his starvation diet, his carefully crafted insults, his choking kisses. He would kiss her in ways where she couldn't breathe. And his disturbing habit of when he was angry, listen to what he would do to her. When he was so-called angry, because y'all know angry is bullcrap to me when it comes to abusers. Y'all ain't angry about nothing. Ain't angry about nothing. Double negative. Yep, I said it. Ain't angry about nothing. Anybody make you mad. This is just what you do, what you like to do. You derive some kind of pleasure out of it. But he would do this thing with her. He would hold her wrists. So at this point, she's lost a lot of weight already. He would hold her wrists to the point of turning her wrists and twisting them and forcing her to drop to her knees in pain, to surrender to him at 14 and 15 years old. This stuff is happening to our kids, y'all. Please pay attention. And he would do that until she apologized for whatever thing that I'm sure was not even her fault. God, when I just think about this stuff, it just hurts. So eventually she said, I never want to see you again. But what does he do? He starts showing up. And what does he bring? Remember that story I told you in the beginning? He shows up bringing her flowers. Remember the flowers in the beginning? Mm-hmm. Yep, she doesn't like flowers for this reason. Bringing her flowers and all kinds of things. What happens? Well, she's 14 or 15. What you expect? What y'all think happened? She's 14 or 15. He's bringing her flowers. He's apologetic. He's, I love you, and whatever else he's saying. What do you think she did? She went back to him. Everyone always asks her, she talks about that. Everyone always asks, why did I do that? And you know what she said? Because he was different. He had changed. No, he didn't. He just knew exactly what to do to throw you off his trail and to make you think he made a mistake and that he was just misjudging and whatever else other lies he might have told her. That's what he did. These are the kinds of manipulative behaviors that we have to share. Hey, listen, there's some of us grown-ups that still miss this kind of stuff. So if we're missing it and we've been alive for 40 and 50 years, what do we think about our teens? They're our babies. They don't know. We have to teach them and let them know so they're not so naive, so they don't miss the signs. Let's keep going. She talks about how the books about domestic violence talk about this honeymoon stage, which is what he took her into. I love you. You need these flowers, baby. Let me kiss you. Let me hold you. And he was gentle. All the things she really wanted from him, he gave her. Are you listening? He knew she wanted that. So what did he do? He gave it to her just long enough to get his hooks back in her and then repeat the cycle. Bottom line is, she said, page 123, page 123. She says, but the rigid control started again, but this time it was more, every time it was more bizarre and more frightening than before. Let's rewind for a second. I talked to y'all about the cycle of abuse. Long time ago. I should bring it up all the time. Long time ago, I talked about it. It's a real thing. That whole tensions building, then some kind of event happens, then the honeymoon phase happens, and then they're right back in the cycle of there's calm and peace. Then the tension happens again. And it's the same thing. Well, let me tell y'all something that you may not know. That honeymoon phase, after the abuse goes on long enough, it stops being as long as it used to be. It shortens. You know, it lasts longer. The abuse phase lasts longer. At some point, that honeymoon phase gets so small and the abuse phase gets so long that for the victim, believe me, I know, for the victim, you feel like you are in a constant state of abuse. It goes on and on and on, and you feel like you never can come up for air. The honeymoon stuff is gone. The abuse is constant. Trust me. Trust me. I know. All right, so we talked about the torture, how he would hold her two wrists with his hands so that she couldn't get away, make her drop to her knees and apologize. It was terrible. He was basically claiming her as his property, but check this out. Not only would he force her to her knees, but then she said he'd do this. This is so sadistic and demonic. He scratched his name onto different parts of her body. He would scratch his name into her skin. That was his big thing, to claim her as his property. Are y'all listening to me? And what happens? The kids cover it up. They don't let anybody see it. They don't know what to do. But I love him. And they're only teenagers. Save our babies, y'all. Talk to them. Okay. So anyway, we keep going. There was a point in the story where he had like pushed her down the steps and he hurt her wrist. And the boy's dad, Brad's dad, was right there, witnessed the entire situation. You know what he said? He came down, looked at her wrist, shook her hand around and said, yeah, you're fine. No, you're fine. If it was broken, I couldn't move it like this. See, it's nothing to make a big deal over. The boy's dad. The boy's dad basically said, get up, little girl, little L-I-L. Get up, little girl. You all right. Not all right. All right. You all right. Terrible. What did that teach her? What did that teach him as that man's son? I can do this and my dad approves. My dad approves, so I'm good. So let's keep going. Gosh, man. Finally, they were at a movie theater one time. Are y'all? Yeah, oh my goodness, exactly. They were at a movie theater one time. Now, the movie theater is very public, and a lot of the kids that they know in the neighborhood were also at the same theater. She didn't tell me the story doesn't tell you the circumstances around why this happened, but she just goes into what happened. She said, he hit me so hard that I was sprawled out on the sidewalk. She said there were so many people there who knew us, not just her, but them who knew us, and they all just looked at me. And Brad goes, well, get up. No one cares. He says that to her out loud, and you know what she said? And he was right. No one did care. No one did anything at all. I need y'all to comment for me. Like, help me understand. If you witness something like that, if you see someone, a man, a boy, a guy, hit a girl to the point when she hits the ground, And y'all all standing there. How does no one say anything? Somebody please comment for me. How does no one say anything? Back up to the other story. How does a father witness his son push a girl down the steps, hurt her wrist, and then say, get up, you're fine, it's not that bad, don't make a big deal of it? Somebody comment to me. Tell me how society has gotten to this place where they can watch a man abuse a woman and turn and look the other way like, oh, well, I got my tickets. Y'all going into the movie? Yeah, we in theater number 25. How does that happen? I'm gonna wait for y'all comments to come in because it bothers the mess out of me. She says, page 126, all she wanted was acknowledgement of the episode. It would have been enough if someone had said, hey, Brad, I saw that. She's like, if someone says something, I saw that. When no one spoke, listen to what she says. When no one spoke up for her, the silence was her answer. So this is okay. This is fine. I'm reading from the book, y'all. This happens to everybody. Is that what they're trying to tell me? That's what she's trying to figure out at 14, 15 years old. Let me see what y'all telling me. Yeah, sit here, my mouth wide open, like, wow, no one said a thing. Like, how does it get there? Let's see what Sarita has to say. She said, because people are scared to get involved. Agreed. Lack of empathy. What is your opinion of teaching our daughter self-defense? Oh, big time. I believe that. It's interesting you asked that because I've been toiling back and forth about getting my baby into some kind of karate or some kind of something where she is prepared to understand the strength of her body and how to maximize that strength and, use her weight to her advantage. So anyway, yes, people are scared to get involved. But my gosh, this is exactly how the cycle continues. Scared that maybe the person's going to come for them. The lack of empathy part, the lack of empathy is a big deal. Well, I'm not in that situation. That's her. Let me mind my business right here. Let's see what the next person said. Let's see what Unique Lesson said. Oh, I love my family. I asked this question to men, and they said they don't help because women will go back, and they do not want to get involved because of fear of getting hurt. So let me say something about that. Yes, I get that. There are men who say, even if I help her, all she gonna do is go back to him tomorrow, next week, or whatever. So what's the point? I get it. I do. So let me just say something about that comment. Thank you for putting that in there. There is a statistic, and I've said this a few times, that states that it takes on average 7 times. And when I say average, y'all know math, and average means that's kind of the middle, but there's numbers above and numbers below that make this average in the middle. On average, 7 times for a victim of domestic violence to leave for good. So I do understand the point there. But it's kind of like what happened to me. Just for a second, let me back up. I was told that the reason why I wasn't made aware of what my ex had done in his past was because they thought he changed. Same old nonsense. They thought he changed. So I said, okay, well, did y'all tell him about the new one? Did y'all talk about the new one? Did y'all tell this person now? Did y'all tell that person the new one? Well, no, because, now she's so far in, she's not gonna blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. Let me just back everybody up real quick. I don't care what they do, whoever she is. I don't care what she does or doesn't do, but you know what he does. Why are you not speaking up? Why are you helping the cycle of abuse continue by keeping a secret on something that should never be kept secret? Why are you not saving, protecting women who deserve to be protected? That pisses me off. And so now I go back to this comment. I don't say anything because all she gonna do is go. How you know she gonna go back? How do you know that this one time, this moment that you have to help, how do you know that you stepping in won't be that 7th time? That 7th time that she needed to break away. How do you know? You don't. So have a little empathy and a little bit of courage, because that's what you expect from her. You want her to have courage. Where's your damn courage? Where's yours? Find it. We have got to stop this mess. And if you think the victims can stop their own abuse, you are kidding yourself. Don't kid yourself. We need men to step up and check these other men who are doing this because it's not okay. It was never okay. And victims go into relationships just like everybody else. They hope for love. They don't go into a relationship hoping to be abused. Doesn't make a damn bit of sense. So find your courage. Find your courage, please. Thank you. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. A middle ground or number that signifies the info. Yes, thank you, Midori. Y'all, this means so much to me because I just don't understand, especially the people who know the abusers are abusers, who stand by and allow people to get back and they help this person. Their complacency, their lack of speaking up helps this person to do it again and again and again. And then they back up like, well, yeah, I mean, well, she should just leave. Well, how about you should open your damn mouth and say something and help people? But you don't, because it's easy to step back and be a coward and don't say nothing and let it keep happening and act like you ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't me. I ain't the one doing it. So I ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah, okay. I see you. I see all of y'all. It's a problem. Do something about it. Do something about it. My God. I just feel so much about that. And it drives me crazy. Everybody's ready to talk about the victim and what the victim didn't do and what the victim should do, what the victim should say and where she should go. But what about you who actually knows? All right, I'm gonna shut up now, y'all. Gosh. Being complacent makes you a willing accomplice. For anybody, listen up. I don't care how you figure out how to tell that person. Maybe it isn't safe in the moment. Maybe the abuser has a gun. Okay, we're not dumb. Okay, we need to be smart. But how can you help? Can you sideways call the police off on the side? Can you do something? Can you like be a distraction so that the thing stops happening right there? Can you do something? Gosh, that's it. All right. All right, keep it moving. Keep moving. So anyway, it just is amazing to me how we all want this thing to disappear, and yet we all are not playing a part in trying to help it do just that. And I know for a fact I do not want to see my daughter or any girl, any woman in that situation. So when I think about all of it, I'm so glad that eventually this young lady got out of the situation, but it took her years to figure out what happened to her. And those things carry. Those things carry over into next relationships. This man, this boy, because she broke up with him, when he realized she meant it this last time, he said, okay, I'm gonna wait till she get by herself. He got her by herself. I don't know if it was his home or her home or wherever it was, but he brutally raped her. Like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. You will be mine until I say otherwise. And here's the thing, not that it makes it better if she wasn't, but she was a virgin. This girl was a virgin. She was 14, 15 years old. And this is how her virginity was taken in a brutal rape. We have to take care of our girls. I am grateful for the work that Unique Blessings does. Listen, y'all, this is kind of a sidebar, but we have a lot of things that we do for teen girls specifically, trying to help them deal with their issues, what they are going through, teach them regular life skills. What kinds of things would you wear if you're in a job interview? How should you eat? How should you present yourself? All kinds of things. So thank God for the work that we do in the community. But we also talk about human trafficking, teen dating violence, all of those things which are essential. Okay, so overall, Whitney broke up with him. Once he realized that she meant it, he unfortunately, tragically raped her. But she knew that that was it. And that turned into a whole big situation for her and her life and how she had to heal from that, which is difficult. Because listen, it ain't over. When it's over, it's not. So you can imagine her recovery, her healing period. All right, so that was our teen dating violence story. Wait a minute, I got some comments in here. Some people find this as, I can't even read it. Some people find this as entertaining until the victim is killed. Then everyone comes to the candlelight vigil and shows sympathy. By then it's too late. I agree. I will never forget one time I was in Philly. This is when I was much younger. So this is my first time I actually saw domestic violence. And I was not too far from my elementary school. Now I was older, but I was walking with a friend of mine near our elementary school. And on the opposite side of the elementary school, opposite side of the street, there was a guy. He was walking with his girlfriend. and they were arguing. Clearly, they were arguing. And he kept saying, go on, like telling her, hurry up, and like, trying to make her walk ahead of him. And the minute she got ahead of him, he lifted his right foot and kicked her in her butt so hard, sent her forward on the concrete, right? Scraped her elbows, arms, whatever. And I'm much younger. And my friend and I are like, oh my God, no. Like, we're screaming, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Now, thank God nothing happened to us, to be honest, because we were young or whatever. But she would get up and he would kick her in her behind again. And she falls to the ground. In my mind, I'm thinking, run. In my mind, I'm thinking, run. But she did not run. And she kind of took it, just bared through it. And then they went off wherever they went. And I don't know, I might have been like 12 or something, because I know I wasn't in that elementary school anymore. But I remember being near it, walking by it. This stuff is happening, y'all. All right. Let me get to the second story, because the second story is my story. This lady's name is Dr. Andrea Hartley. I am now getting to page 134. Ooh, this is my story. So, oh, wait, hold on. I got some comments. I want to make sure I get this in here. Midori, I dated a man who was raped by a 17-year-old girl in his neighborhood. He was 12. It has a lasting effect. See, this is why I want everybody to be clear. I know 85% of the time, if that's still the statistic at this point, 85% of the time, the victim is female. But I want y'all to know it does not stop there. Guys, boys are experiencing rape, abuse. It's happening in high schools. It's happening to men who are adults who you would look at and think, man, he is cock diesel. That dude ain't letting no woman do whatever to him. It's not about the size. It's not about the size. There's a lot going on in the situation, in the relationship, that the dynamics of power. Abuse is about power and control. Stop looking for other things. It's about power and control. That's it. All right. Sarita, add another comment. I remember the domestic. Oh, yes. She said, I remember the domestic violence walk we did. So this was the very first domestic violence walk I had ever done. It was me and this lady, this beautiful woman right here, Sarita Taylor. She went with me. And it was the walk, I want to say it was in June of like 2018. And she said the walk we did, and the ladies in front of us who were wearing a shirt to honor their friend that died because of domestic violence, their friend, she was beautiful. Her name was Jennifer. And that's where I got the phrase, I choose happiness, because it was on that shirt. And she kept saying how she wanted to be happy and that she was going to choose happiness. But guess what? She stayed with him too long. This woman, Jennifer, stayed with that man too long. He stabbed her to death in her own apartment. She was successful. She was a smart, loving, had many friends and family. She had a twin sister, if I recall correctly, Sarita. She had a twin. She was killed by this guy, and he was nothing, right? But she loved him, and he put her through it, and she kept saying she was going to go. And she didn't get out in time. We got to get out in time, y'all. Ooh, oh my gosh. All right. Last comment from Midori. It took away his ability to make decisions and trust himself. It took away his pride. Y'all got to understand, abuse is a woo. All right. So now, Andrea Hartley, doctor. I'm going to keep saying that because I want y'all to be really, really clear that there is not an archetype or a stereotype for women who get abused, for people who get abused. I don't think I was the stereotype, but guess what? Yep, happened. Can't stand that it happened. But I realized that if it didn't happen to me, then my voice on this topic would not be here. And it's a needed voice. And so, God, I wish I could erase it. But at the same time, there's a torch I'm supposed to carry, and I'm carrying it. So I'm going to do it. All right. So the author of the book, again, this is Dr. Elaine Weiss. She says, the human mind, check this out. The human mind cannot hold what it cannot grasp. I'm going to say it again. The human mind cannot hold what it cannot grasp. And so we humans invent what she calls mental models. And mental models are our way of making sense of the world. Do y'all get that? So here we go. Let's put this in practice or make it make sense. She said, so remember these mental models, and people can't conceive of it, so their mind can't grasp it. It is inconceivable that a strong woman can also be a battered woman. Now y'all get it? Her point is, People can't grasp that. So the mind can't hold it. It's inconceivable that a strong woman can also be a battered woman. That's me, y'all. It was inconceivable to me. I wouldn't even like, no, this is just bad arguments. We're just going through some stuff. Like, I didn't call it abuse until like I actually got hit. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The two would seem to be mutually exclusive. The two things, a strong woman and a battered woman, would seem to be mutually exclusive, but they are not. What we got here? Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me that. The guy, sorry, I'm gonna go back a step. The guy who killed her, the woman, Jennifer Smith, we saw her on a t-shirt during our domestic violence awareness walk in June of 2018. Her friends shared that when he got sentenced, he did not get the maximum sentence. He was out in a short period of time. I swear they said like 3 or 4 years. It was not long at all, at all. Midori, you said Me Too. I don't remember what the Me Too was about because I missed you when you wrote it, baby. I'm sorry, but yes, Me Too, us too. Yep, they don't make sense. So the two things would seem to be mutually exclusive. So consequently, the other author, she's talking about how she was at a conference speaking about domestic violence. And she said, so she kept trying to warm up the public to the topic. And she said, we typically create an image of a battered woman that makes more sense to us. We just do it. We do. We presume she is a weak, uneducated person. Come on, let's bring it, y'all. Low self-esteem. She marries at a young age. She gets like 6 children in 7 years. This is what the author says. We make up these mental models. Well, if she's a battered woman, she must be like this. Must. Just anything else makes no sense. She marries a batterer because, well, her father beat her mother. This is all she knows of marriage. She remains with him because she has nowhere else to go, no job skills, no means to support herself, or her children. We make up mental models to make it all fit for us. But guess what? The mental models are faulty. I'm living proof they're faulty. A lot of y'all on here, living proof is faulty. It's not true. It's not true. They are false stereotypes. So Andrea, Miss Andrea or Dr. Hartley, is a Seattle pediatrician with a thriving private practice. Her abusive marriage only occupies the tiniest corner of her history. She left it 17 years ago after 4 months of being married. Check out this story. 749. Okay. I actually left this. I'm gonna read straight from the book because this is where it matches to me. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all see all my highlights? I read for y'all. I prep for y'all. I ain't playing. Okay. She said, within a month, Andrea was spending every minute of her limited free time with Greg. Me too. We couldn't separate, y'all. I was either at his place, he was at my place. Oh, we just enjoyed each other's company so much. We could not get away from each other. Did y'all see me roll my eyes? Philly girl style. You got to add the neck in, right, Sarita? All right. Greg was a stockbroker. Had a good job. He was charming. He was clever and funny. Oh my God. When I tell y'all this was like, I'm like, did me and Andrea date the same dude? Okay. All right. He was clever and funny and charming, and all her friends said so. He doted on her. He made her feel cherished. She said, I was very touched by the fact that he would call me at work to see how I was doing. Doesn't it sound sweet? He would call me at work to see how I'm doing. That's what it looked like to me too, at first. All right. I thought it was lovely that he wanted to know about the people I worked with, about my friends, about my family, and he really listened to my long accounts. And this is what she says next. This is on page 137. Looking back now, I realize it was, in a sense, evidence gathering. Do y'all hear me? When I tell y'all this is exactly what happened to me. It was evidence gathering. I need to know about all the people around you so I can decide which one is too nosy, which one lives too far to even matter, which one could be a problem for me, because I need to knock them out the park as fast as I can. Evidence gathering. Woo, let me go ahead. Let me pull up some of these comments. Battered does not always have bruises. Thank you. Let me put my book down. Battered does not always have bruises. Battered is beautiful as well. Beautiful faces, beautiful hearts, successful women, and more. Let me just tell you something. I know who wrote that. That was Chantel. Chantel, that's a poem. Chantel, that is a poem. That's a poem. All right, let's see what else. Midori, there was a candlelight vigil at UNC Charlotte for a psych professor. Thank you. Who was murdered by her boyfriend a couple years ago. It's beyond sickening. So yes, if you have a framework in your mind of what a domestic violence victim looks like, she must be broke. She must need a man. She got 50 million kids. No, no, boo-boo. That's how you say it. No, no, boo-boo. No, that's not always the case. So stop, okay? Stop. All right, Sarita, their motives are to gain information to use against you. That is exactly correct. And that's what happened to me. Information about my sister, information about my dad and my mom's marriage and why it didn't work out. What did that mean for me? Oh, so she grew up in this environment where there was cheating. Good. She grew all that stuff, all of that. They are collecting data. And let me tell you, I tell people all the time, pay attention, because my ex not only asked me questions and listened, but he asked me the same questions multiple times. I did not understand why. Gosh, I didn't understand that he was asking because he needed to cement the memory of what I said in his mind so that he can come up with his scheme for how to use it against me later on. It is a fact. That's what they do. And to isolate you by means of manipulation. Oh, yes. So if I could understand this relationship between her and this friend, my best friend Tanara, who will, she coming on the show soon, y'all. She's coming on the show soon. My birthday episode, get ready. But yes, he needed to understand how exactly close we were. And once he understood that, he realized he had to work real hard to break that up. He needed to create things in my mind about her that got to this day, I just feel like, damn, like, how did I miss this? Like, I still be figuring myself for it, but how did I miss the manipulation of making her out to be something she wasn't so that he can drive that wedge between us? Because he knew she was no joke when it came to me. You know how people say, that's my person? That's my person. And she'll tell you, I'm her person. And he knew he had to break that up. I love that girl. Love that woman. She will be on my show on my birthday, August 29th. So get ready. That's a good conversation. All right. So y'all get the point. You guys are with me. I love y'all. Y'all are doing it for me tonight. Y'all are doing it for me tonight. So yes, he was everything she was looking for. Everything she was looking for. And so was mine. At least I thought everything I was looking for. So looking back, I realized, as she said, it was in a sense evidence gathering. Pay attention to when someone seems to be at, listen, I'm from Philly, Sarita from Philly, I keep shouting her out. We from Philly. You got Chantel, she from Baltimore. You gotta say it like that, Baltimore. She from Baltimore. There's a few things we don't like. And that's when you asking a whole lot of questions about me, but you ain't sharing nothing about yourself. Wait a minute. Something's out of balance here. You're asking me a lot of questions about me, but you're not sharing anything about yourself. Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. All right, let me keep going. So let me tell y'all real quick because we're coming to near the end. So this woman again, Dr. Andrea Hartley, she gets married to him and she says on their honeymoon, so now I'm on page 138. On their honeymoon, this charming, clever, funny man turned into someone she didn't recognize. She said, without warning, they were at dinner. Listen to this. Sadistic. Without warning, his name was Greg. Greg picked up his coffee cup and with the flip of his wrist, threw the hot coffee at her. Threw the hot coffee at her. She said, I remember feeling the hot coffee hit my skin. It splashed on her chest, but guess what he said? Y'all ready for this? Crazy. He says, oh my God, Andrea. How did you spill that on you? Are you all right? So for the people around them, he pretended like she spilled the coffee on himself when he clearly went real quick and threw the coffee on her. She said, I thought I was crazy. I really thought I was crazy because he said, how'd you do that? Are you all right? And she's like, I know you just spilled. Now, to me, that seems like a real obvious one. Like, I don't know, just me, right? Maybe y'all tell me. That one seems like a, wait a minute. Y'all, me and my wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm out. But hey, you know, that was her thing. She said, this is what she said. I couldn't allow myself to believe this was happening. because I was his wife. Because as the weeks passed, it became increasingly clear that he needed help. Listen, it became clear that he needed help, and she was in a helping profession. So the empath in her took over, took control of her wisdom and her discernment. The empath in her took over, and she thought she could help. Well, after each episode, he had tears, he had promises, all these things would happen, but somehow he would manage to subtly convey that what happened was her fault. Just amazing. So they went through all these issues with violence, all these things. She came up with ideas to cope. Didn't work. Didn't work. But she went to the hospital. She went to work every day, right? Worked on patients, took blood, took temperatures, did all these things. Like life was the same. Yet she was at home, this powerful woman who had earned her way, being abused, powerless at home, but looking powerful at work. So here's the thing that got her. One day, he forged this huge check from the bank account that her dad had set up for her and her sister. So her dad was very wealthy, a very powerful businessman. And so her husband at the time forged a big check out of that account. And it was, what is that, y'all? Financial abuse. Financial abuse. Period. Let's keep it real. Don't cover it up. Because there's all I just saw I said facts, it's Baltimore. All right. So he forged this check, and for some reason, it's funny how you don't know what the thing is going to be, what the thing is going to be. But somehow he forged that check and he stole from her. And in the stealing of her, she had enough. So her father, being the successful businessman, he called his law firm, and he set the wheels in motion for Andrea to get divorced. So anyway, they go through this whole thing, and she talks about how it was so hard for her to trust again. How after the fact, all the memories, all the pain, it was just difficult for her. It took her like 18 years or something to even trust enough to marry again. That stuff lingers, y'all. That's why this chapter is called It's Over, But It Ain't Over. So I'm going to say this. I thought the chapter was powerful. Here's where I thought it missed, though. I will tell y'all this. Where I thought it missed was the author talked a lot about the emotional strain that abuse takes on you. It's 100% accurate. What I find interesting is that there was not a lot of discussion about what these women's lives were like after, meaning some of them had children with these men, so then what? What happened, right? Like, where did that go? They didn't talk a lot about the experience in court. What was the court battle like? What was that like? They didn't talk about those things. And for me, y'all know, I told y'all, when I tell y'all that dude came for me in ways I can't even explain, he wasn't satisfied with what he had done to my life when I was with him. He needed to try to drag me below the dirt, below the depths of the earth. It was everything from, oh, let me get on the stand and pretend that I'm the victim because now I ain't in the house no more. And I live it with my auntie on the stand, court records. Listen, we can pull them up. I know the truth. Now I live with my auntie and I'm sleeping in her second bedroom and I ain't got enough space for me and my daughter. And who had the money? Angelique had the money. Who had this? Angelique did. Oh, so I'm the, I ain't got nothing. I need her money. Can you give me some post-separation support from her? He came to the judge and said, can you keep making her pay for me to live? I mean, I know I signed this domestic violence protective order. I consented to the abuse. I know I did that, but can you please still keep making her pay for my life though? That's what happened. That's what happens. So you think about other situations where there was this whole concern about, I mean, this dude filed a claim in court, a motion in court to stop me. You know, people say freeze your assets. He filed a motion in court to get the court to stop me from spending incoming money I had, my bonus money, my money that I made. He filed a motion. I want y'all to understand that so much stuff happens when you have a child too. So then it was the no paying the child support. That's all resolved now. Thank God it's coming in. All right. Can we just say amen to that? Let's go in and clap that because it's useful to me and my daughter deserves it. But at first, fighting in court constantly. Now, Sarita will remember this very well if she's still on. I had an Escalade. Besides my other car, I had an Escalade. That car that I had paid for months and years and down to like $5,000. He was awarded that car in court. Why? 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 This concept that your husband can abuse you, consent to the abuse, say, I did it. Yup, I did it. But then reap the benefits of having been married to you is the most ridiculous, I won't curse, ish I have ever heard. That he can then go before a judge and act like he needs me now after destroying the relationship on purpose, admitting to it, but then it's like, well, he still should get half your this and half your that. Thank God it didn't work out that way, because he had miscalculated, y'all. He miscalculated. He had put me in so much debt that when it came down to split the assets, there was nothing left to split. I kept my stuff. He got something, but I kept my stuff, my 401k, my bonus money, all that. God is good. I kept it. He said, you want to split some of this debt with me? We can split that. You want that? So anyway, there's stuff that the author didn't talk about. We're done here. There's stuff that the author did not talk about in the book. And I just want to make you guys aware. There is a thing called abuse. There's a power and control wheel, but there is also a post-separation power and control wheel. Why do I bring that up? The chapter is called It's Over, But It's Not Over. I want y'all to be clear that abuse, God, if you are married, if you have a child with this person, it continues well after the relationship is over. But thank God, because I'm strong. God is with me. Y'all are with me. Every week, y'all are with me, and I appreciate it. You guys have helped me to continue on my journey by speaking it out. I know I'm helping somebody somewhere, someone, somebody. I got a lot of comments, so I'm gonna go ahead and check these out because I appreciate the comments. So so that's real. It stays with you. Yes, it does. Let's keep going. Thanks, Midori. Financial stress is a mofo. We all know what mofo is, right? All right. So, and the Oscar goes to, yes, boy, please. So that's back to the comment I made about being on a stand. Oh my God, I wish I could play that moment back for y'all. My mom was in the courtroom like, are you, now she don't curse, right? But I know she was thinking, are you effing kidding me? I know she was. I ain't tell you the end of that story, but the end of the story, after he was begging for money for the post-separation abuse support, he got it. He didn't get the $600 a month he was asking for. Did y'all hear what I just said? He came for $600 a month for me to pay him in post-separation support. You know, like alimony, before they call it alimony, is before the divorce actually is finalized. That's what he was looking for. Alimony in the meantime. $600 a month. And yeah, it didn't happen that way. The judge was like, this is a lie. That's a lie. You don't know. You don't need that. Tell you what, I'll give you $115.75 a month. That's what he got. Shouldn't have got a thing, but he got $115.75. Huh? You should have got nothing. Nathan, you should have got Nathan. All right. I wanted my day in court, but his side piece got him out of jail Christmas Day after he tried stealing my car. Listen, there's always one to follow up behind us, y'all. These dudes and girls too, they typically have one waiting in the queue, right? Waiting right there because they already been setting it up because they can see the temperature of the relationship and that it's changing with you. And so they make it important to then have the next one set up. That's what they do. Do not be surprised. That's the one reason I try to tell survivors. It's honestly not personal. It feels very personal. And I hate to think of myself as the next one in line. I was just the next one up to bat. I hate to think of it that way. But the truth is, they didn't love you. They never cared for you like that. You were an opportunity for them to, again, exercise their power and control and dominate. Had nothing to do with you, but yet everything to do with you. Does that make sense? It had nothing to do with you, but yet everything to do with you. All right, y'all awesome. It is 8:06. I will check. I think there is a new comment. I want to get them all in. Sarita says, yes, the laws are truly messed up. They are truly messed up. Jerona is on here. She said, but God. Can we all just shout that real quick? But God. Oh my God, Jerona was there for a lot of this stuff. She was sitting at that table half the time helping me plan my wedding thinking, I bet she was thinking, you sure you want to do this? The ram in the bush, the ram in the bush. You guys are phenomenal. I appreciate you so much. Tonight was an amazing night. Listen, we read books all the time. And the perspective of the author is the perspective of the author. We may not necessarily agree with everything they say, but I guarantee you pick up a book, any book, I guarantee you will learn something from that author. You will learn a perspective that even if you do not have it, you will understand the world in a very different way. My prayer is that you understand domestic violence, that you understand the different types of abuse, you understand victims and survivors, and you understand abusers just a little bit better every time you tune into this show. Weekly podcast, Silent No More, Angelique Pierce, rolling out with the Ladder Masters, and always rocking with the Unique Blessings family. All right. So listen, I'm gonna keep shouting this out. I'm getting off in a second, but check this out, y'all. August 29th. August 29th. Sunday, August 29th is my 44th birthday. And I am having a 44th very special birthday episode. There's a lady on here by the name of Sarita. She might show up. She just might be a part, just maybe, quite possibly. All right, ladies and gents, I will see y'all next week for the final section of this book. I'm going to close it out. And then on the 29th of August is my B-Day episode with Angelique and the crew. I can't wait to start publicizing that one. Be there or be square. Is that what they say? Be there or be square. All right. I love y'all. Good night. Stay blessed. Stay blessed. I will see y'all next Sunday. Mwah. Bye, everybody.